How's your debating team coming, Kath?
Oh, fine, Uncle Martin. Patty and I are both on the team.
Oh.
Yeah, Papa, we're gonna bowl them over.
We're having our Little League tryouts this morning. Boy, I'll bet half the town didn't sleep last night.
Papa, we're having a debate at the auditorium Saturday. Would you like to come?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I have to go to a meeting in Kansas City this weekend.
There must be 1 million guys trying out for pitcher.
How long will you be gone?
Just a day or two.
Boy, I'll bet the guys that don't make the team are gonna kill themselves.
What are you debating?
Whether or not there's life on other planets.
That should be interesting.
Now, Billy Bishop is the one to watch. He's good, and he throws a fastball with a hop on it. Everybody knows he's gonna get it. Have you ever seen a fastball with a hop on it?
I'm sorry, Ross. I really don't know very much about baseball.
Well, I could teach you. You too, Patty.
Oh, sure, Ross. But some other time, we're trying to get ready for the debate.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll be going. I don't want to be late for the tryouts. So long.
Patty, are you meeting Richard?
Yeah, Mama. We're going unicycling.
Unicycling?
Uh-huh. One wheel. That should be fun.
Where's Ross?
He's gone. That kid. He could have at least said goodbye.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day. Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette. Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Ross! Ross! Hey, what's the matter? Don't you feel well? Well, tell me what's wrong. Why are you lying here in the dark?
Well, no one cares whether I live or die. I'm not gonna make the ball team. I haven't had a bite of food all day.
Of course we care.
Billy Bishop's gonna make pitcher. Oh, I wish I were dead.
Oh, come on, don't say that. Everything's gonna be all right.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Now, I want you to tell me all about it, but first I'll get you something to eat, okay? I'll bring a tray up here.
I guess so. Oh, promise not to tell Mom and Dad. You know, they'd think I was a sissy.
Don't worry about that. What are we going to do? I don't know, Kathy, but we've got to do something. He's in terrible shape.
Are you still hungry?
No, Mom, this is for Ross.
Well, you said he didn't want any dinner. He filled up on hot dogs and things at the ballpark.
Well, that's because he was too sick to eat. Mama, he's up in his room and he's in terrible shape.
Why?
Well, first of all, because he didn't make the Little League, and second of all, because he thinks none of us give a darn.
Why didn't he say something?
Well, I guess he did, but we weren't tuned in.
Oh, well, I'll go up and have a talk with him.
Oh, no, Papa, I really wish you wouldn't do that, because I told him I wouldn't say anything. He doesn't want you to think he's a sissy.
Oh, all right. You make sure he eats, and we'll think of something.
Okay.
Patty.
Thank you. You want some more? Okay, let's talk.
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't feel much like talking.
What do you feel like?
A failure.
Just because you might not make the Little League?
Well, I can't explain it. It seems like such a little thing, but if the coach doesn't pick me, it means I'm not as good as the other fellow. I might as well be a girl.
Well, how do you know he's not going to pick you?
Because today he kept putting Billy Bishop in as pitcher. He only let me pitch half an inning.
Well, that's not fair. What's his name?
Coach Johnson.
And he picks the teams?
Yeah, he's murder. I really tried, Patty, but he's awfully hard to please.
Well, did he actually say he was going to pick Billy Bishop?
No, but everybody knows he's going to.
When is it supposed to be decided?
At the end of our tryouts next week. And it's not only pitching, it's also going to depend a lot on our RBIs.
Your RBIs?
Runs batted in. Well, what's the difference? Nobody around here cares anything about baseball. It's like I was speaking a foreign language and have got nobody to talk to.
Well, from now on, you're going to. Okay, it's your turn. How many major leagues are there? 2. American and National. Good. Where's Baltimore? In Maryland, isn't it? I mean, what league is it in? Oh, American. Good. San Francisco? National? Minnesota? American. Good, you're going to be quite an expert. Let's go to the minor leagues.
Maury Wills.
He's with the Dodgers.
Flood.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Nixon.
Did he play ball?
Russ Nixon.
Of course. Boston.
Very good.
You know, all these players are famous, and I never even heard of them before. It's like another world.
Well, at the moment, it's Ross's world. I think it's very nice we can share it with him.
So do I. Is there a little league for mothers?
I don't think so. Might not be a bad idea to start one, though. You know, I wouldn't be in Coach Johnson's shoes for all the money in the world. I'll bet every mother and father in town is on his neck.
Hello, darling.
Oh, hi, son. How'd it go today?
Not so hot. A lot of kids were eliminated.
Were you?
No, but tomorrow's another day.
Hi, champ. How's it going?
Terrible. Billy Bishop pitched most of the game.
Oh, well, that's nothing to worry about. The coach is probably just saving you, that's all. Come on, sit down.
Sure. The way they saved Tiant today. They put him in as relief pitcher in the top of the 4th, and he pitched a shutout.
Ross, it might be a good idea if you got some extra pitching practice. Hey, yeah, you can practice on the patio.
But I've no one to play with.
Well, I'll play ball with you. I could use the exercise.
Do you mean that, Dad?
Certainly. Let's go out and throw a few around.
Oh, I've got nothing to do. I'll go with you. Me too.
Hey, that's great.
Let's go.
Strike 3!
You got a nice curve there, son.
Thanks. You should see Billy Bishop's curve.
Why don't we take a little rest?
Yeah. I could go on forever.
Not me. I'm not as young as I used to be.
How do you think I'm doing?
I think you're doing fine. Could I give you some advice?
Sure.
I think you should stop worrying about Billy Bishop. Forget that you're competing with him and just compete with yourself. Do the best you can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll meet you at the Shake Shack. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I'll call you from Kansas City.
Bye, Papa. Have a good time.
Oh, thank you, honey. Now, you look after Ross, will you?
Oh, don't worry about him. I'm going to make a little league pitcher out of him if it kills me.
He'll be fine. Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
You know, Mama, Ross is really a very good pitcher. Coach Johnson wouldn't dare not put him on the team.
I hope Coach Johnson knows that. Hello, darling.
Hi, Ross.
Hungry?
Did anything happen today?
Coach Johnson eliminated all the pitchers except me and Billy Bishop.
That's
great.
good.
No, it isn't. Billy Bishop's gonna get it. Is 12 too young to have a nervous breakdown?
You're not going to have a nervous breakdown.
I'm cracking up.
Why don't you have something to eat?
Why is it mothers always think that food solves everything? I don't know what I'm gonna do if he doesn't pick me.
Ross?
War nerves.
Narrowed down to him and Billy Bishop. Mama, we've got to do something. Do you know he hasn't eaten anything in 3 days? He's going to be too thin to pitch. He'll throw the ball and go right up in the air after it.
I don't know what to do.
Why don't we have a talk with Coach Johnson? You know, kind of feel him out.
Is that ethical?
Well, if you love your son, it's ethical. I mean, why don't we invite him to dinner? You see, I could find out what his favorite food is and you could cook it for him.
That sounds a little like bribery.
No, it's what you call the social graces.
Comes at an opportune time, too, doesn't it?
Mama, there's nothing wrong with being nice to him. I mean, what's wrong with letting him see Ross in his native habitat?
I don't think your father would approve.
Well, he doesn't have to know. He's out of town, isn't he? What harm could it do? We're only going to invite him to dinner. Everybody does it. I mean, people give candy to the teacher, an apple to the policeman, gifts to their bosses. It's just a way of showing your appreciation. This does mean a lot to Ross, Aunt Natalie.
All right, we'll do it.
Let's not say anything to Ross.
Let's not say anything to anyone.
This is going to be the best party we've ever had.
Well, it isn't exactly a party, darling. It's just Coach Johnson.
Still going to be the best party we ever had. Patty, would you sit for me, please? Oh, sure, Cat.
Does Ross have any idea who's coming?
We didn't breathe a word.
I can't wait to see his face.
Yeah. He's here. The coach is here. Oh. Someone had better let him in or go away.
I'll let him in. Martin!
I'm sorry I had a ring. I just forgot my key.
You're home a day early.
Yeah, I know. We finished up ahead of schedule, so I just caught the late afternoon plane out, and here I am. You're all dressed up.
Yes, we're having a guest for dinner.
Oh, one of Patty's friends?
No, one of Ross's friends.
Well, good.
How do you do?
I'm fine. How are you?
What are you doing here?
I live here.
But you're home a day early.
Well, I can always leave again. Why is everybody so dressed up?
You always dress for dinner.
Like that?
He's here again.
Yeah, well, I must say you've gone to a lot of trouble for Ross's friend, but I think it's kind of cute.
Do you? I'm sure glad. Patty, would you let him in, please?
Oh, yeah. Good evening, Coach Johnson. Hi, I'm Patty Lane.
Hello, Patty.
Thank you. Won't you come in?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Lane.
How do you do?
And this is my husband, Martin Lane. Darling, this is Coach Johnson.
Coach Johnson?
Nice to meet you, Mr. Lane.
Well, it's a pleasant surprise meeting you.
And this is our niece, Kathy.
Hello, Kathy.
How do you do, Coach Johnson?
What are you doing here? I suppose you come by to give us some news.
News? No, I just came by to have dinner.
You just came by to have dinner?
Yes. Isn't it nice that Coach Johnson was able to take time out from his busy schedule?
Oh, certainly is.
Where's Ross?
Oh, he'll be right down. Excuse me.
Oh, won't you sit down, please?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, Aki-san, would you put it right here, please?
I love Japanese food. Ikaga desu ka?
Do you. I'm so glad.
What time shall I serve dinner, madam?
The usual time, Aki-san.
On your feet, Ross, get dressed.
I am dressed.
Oh, I mean really dressed.
What for?
For dinner.
Why can't I eat like this?
Because we're having a very important guest. Well, 2 guests.
I'm not hungry.
Come on, put these on and come downstairs and hurry up.
Okay. What did you get all dressed up for?
I did it for someone I love. Hurry up.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time, Mr. Lane. I think the Chronicle's a great newspaper.
Well, thank you.
Are you interested in baseball?
Oh, I played a little when I was in high school.
Ross will be right down. Ross just talks about you all the time, Coach Johnson.
I imagine all the boys talk about me most of the time. It's a good thing I don't hear what they have to say, isn't it?
You used to be shortstop on the Chicago White Sox, didn't you?
How did you know that?
You're much too modest. In your last season with them, you batted .301.
Well, you've been doing a little research on me, haven't you?
Oh, Mama knows all the batting averages. Oh, we're great baseball fans around here.
What did you do after you quit baseball?
I went into the sporting goods business.
Well, how did you get started as a Little League coach?
Somebody asked me, and I said yes. I went in as a substitute for 2 weeks. I've been at it for 10 years now.
Must be very rewarding.
It is. But there are problems, too.
What kind of problems?
Psychological, mostly. Kids can get pretty high-strung. Making the team means a great deal to them. Sometimes too much. Very often the parents will push them into competition. If they fail, they feel they've let their parents down.
Ross was interested in Little League ball before we even knew anything about it.
I'm not saying all parents do it, Mrs. Lane, but you'd be surprised what some mothers and fathers will resort to get their children on the team. These are marvelous. I think these are better than the ones I had last night.
Last night?
Over at Billy Bishop's.
I still don't see why I should wear a suit.
Hello, Ross.
What are you doing here, sir? I mean, did I do something wrong?
Of course not, darling. We invited Coach Johnson to dinner.
To dinner?
Yeah. He eats too, you know.
Why here?
We thought it would be nice if we all got acquainted.
That's why I came, Ross. I like to meet the families of the boys who try out for the team.
Dinner is served.
Arigato, Aki-san.
Oh, Ross said to tell you the reason he went to bed so early is because he's in strict training.
He's a nice boy.
Nat.
Oh, would you like to see our roses? I've some prize cuttings.
I grow them myself.
Oh.
Excuse me, girls.
These are much larger than mine.
They're choice cuttings. May I send you some?
That's very kind of you, Mrs. Lane.
Oh, it's nothing at all. They certainly get a lot of tender, loving care.
Son, you awake?
I guess so. How's he going?
No, I just came up to see how you were.
Mom should never have invited him to dinner.
No, she was just trying to be helpful.
I'll never be able to face him again.
Well, the dinner wasn't really that bad.
He'll think we were trying to bribe him or something.
Well, if it's any consolation to you, Billy Bishop's mother and father had him over for a Japanese dinner last night. He said our raw fish was much better.
Why do parents have to be so helpful?
Well, maybe you'll understand that better when you have children of your own, son.
But I don't want to have children when I grow up. I want to be a baseball player. This could be the end of my whole career.
I doubt that.
Boy, when that butler walked in, I could have died. Where'd he come from?
An employment agency.
What was Mom trying to prove?
I don't think she was trying to prove anything. She just wanted to entertain Coach Johnson, and she was trying to make him feel as comfortable as possible. She went to a lot of trouble.
Trouble is the right word.
Well, I'm not saying that what we did was right. We were probably overcompensating.
What does that mean?
It means that in the beginning we didn't do enough, and in the end we did too much. It's a disease that parents suffer from. I'm sorry if we embarrassed you.
That's okay, Dad. I'll probably get married and have children and forget all about baseball.
Maybe you can do both.
Anyhow, it's only Little League. You know, kind of kid stuff.
I know.
Who cares if anyone's a pitcher?
Sure, who cares?
I care.
I'm sure glad you could come to dinner tonight, Coach Johnson.
Well, so am I, Patty.
You have no idea how much it means to Ross. Ross says that Don Johnson is your son.
That's right.
Don's in my history class.
Well,
Gee, he's a nice boy. I think he's one of the nicest boys in the whole school. I really like him. We're having a record party here Friday. We'd sure love to have him come over.
has he ever been here before?
No.
I see. Well, I'll tell him. Excuse me.
I didn't mean that the way it sounded. Would you like some more coffee, Mr. Johnson?
Oh, thank you. This is enough.
Would you like some fruit?
Oh, no, thank you. I'd better be going.
Oh, but it's still early.
Well, tomorrow's a big day. I have to pick the ball team. Thank you very much for the dinner. It was lovely. Good night. I'm glad I met you, Mr. Lane.
Oh, nice to meet you, Coach. You're going to make your decision tomorrow.
That's right. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come here to meet Ross's family. Ross is a good player, but it's important to know how much support he can count on at home. I mean, a real kind of support where the family knows that he can stand on his own 2 feet. Well, thanks again for everything. I'll see myself out. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, Martin.
It's all my fault. I invited his son to a party and made it sound like I was bribing him. I offered to babysit for him for nothing.
And I offered him our prize roses and thanked him for putting Ross on the team in the same breath. And Aki, and the Japanese food.
Boy, we really helped Ross, didn't we?
Your intentions were good, but you made one mistake.
What was that?
You didn't have enough confidence in Ross. If he wasn't good enough to make the team, then he shouldn't have been on it. But if he was good enough to make it, you should have let him do it on his own.
Yes, sir. Chalk it up to another Patty Lane brainstorm. Where are you going? To see if I can get Ross to take up ice hockey.
Ross should have been home hours ago.
Tryouts take time.
Patty, where have you been? On a kamikaze mission. Since this whole thing was my idea, I decided I should go apologize to Coach Johnson.
What did he say?
He said not to send the rose cuttings, 'cause with his wife away, there's nobody to water them.
Oh.
And he said to tell you he doesn't need a babysitter. I see. And his son can't come on Friday night. Well, we've batted 1,000.
I think the expression is, we struck out.
How am I going to face him?
Hi, folks.
Ross, would you like to go to 3 movies tomorrow?
Oh, gee, thanks, sis, but I can't. I'm pitching for the Little League team.
Oh. You what?
I was made pitcher today. Billy Bishop's my relief pitcher.
Congratulations,
That's
Ross.
wonderful, darling. I'm
that's
so
great.
glad.
Now let's show them
boy.
some real shutouts.
Boy, Coach Johnson sure was nervous today. There must have been 1,000,000 parents out there. He asked me to give you a message, Dad.
A message for me?
Yeah, he's on a 6-month vacation. He wants you to take over as Little League coach for him.
You're kidding.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! but they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Patty, if Richard wants to ride his motorcycle around Brooklyn Heights at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning and wake up the whole population, that's his business. But you tell him he'll have to find another passenger because you can't go.
Papa, it's a brand new second-hand motorcycle, and Richard wants to try it out. Naturally, he wants me with him.
What's so natural about that?
The subject is closed.
Oh, Mama, it'll break his heart.
Patty, I think that you are now reaching the age where you should be thinking about more ladylike pursuits than riding on the back of a motorcycle.
Okay. Now, since I'm an old lady, I think I'll take up crocheting.
I'm sure you can find a happy medium, dear.
Your cousin Kathy would never think of riding around with Richard on his motorcycle.
She better not.
Well, it just wouldn't do you any harm to emulate Kathy a little more.
I guess you're right, Papa. I am a little far out sometimes. Good old Kathy, always got her 2 feet on the ground. Okay, from now on, I'm going to do everything that she does.
Well, there's no need to go overboard. It's just you could pick up a few pointers from her.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day. Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette. Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Boy, you really got caught in a thunder shower.
Yeah, except the sun is shining outside. What happened, Kathy? Why, got a little wet.
No. Darling, are you all right?
Yes, Aunt Natalie, I'm fine, thank you. Well, how on earth did you get all wet? I'd better get into some dry clothes. Excuse me.
What in the world happened to her?
I don't know, but she sure doesn't want to talk about it.
She'll tell us when she's ready.
Well, maybe she's not ready, but I am. Hi, Cuz. No. No what? No, I don't want to discuss it. Kathy, you can't walk into the house soaking wet and say you don't want to discuss it. Did you have a water fight with somebody? No. You walked in front of an open fire hydrant? Of course not. You invented a rainmaking machine? Patty, let's just forget about it. Okay. We'll forget about it. What is it I'm forgetting about? My allowance check came. I'll treat you to a movie tonight. Somebody pushed her in a swimming pool. Hello? Kathy Lane? Just a minute, I'll get her. Who's calling, please? A reporter from the New York Metropolitan? The New York Metropolitan is calling Kathy Lane? What is it in reference to, please? In reference to her heroism today. When she jumped in the lake at the park and saved a boy who was drowning? Kathy? Oh, sure, you can send a reporter. Hey, and you better send a photographer, too. I mean, that's the least you can do for a heroine. Bye.
But, Kathy, I think you should be very proud of what you did.
If Patty had done it, she would have come in with a neon sign.
Kathy, you saved somebody's life. Do you know what that means? Yes. It means there's going to be a big fuss about it, and I don't want there to be. But, Patty, you shouldn't have told that newspaper to send a photographer and a reporter.
Tell us what happened, Kath.
It wasn't anything, Uncle Martin. I happened to be walking by the lake in the park, and I heard someone calling for help. I saw a boy swimming, and he seemed to be having a cramp. There was no one else around, so I jumped in and pulled him out. She just jumped in and pulled him out. Have you ever heard such modesty?
They usually give medals for things like this, you know.
Your picture will be on the front page.
I just did what anyone else would have done. And I'd really prefer not to have a big thing made about it. It's too late.
Yeah. Now you belong to the ages.
He's right, Kathy. Heroism has to be rewarded. And I'm going to help you. Here comes the backfield. Watch how silly Tony acts. He's got a real crush on me.
Hi, Kathy.
Hello, Tony.
I heard what you did yesterday. That's the bravest thing I ever heard of. Are you scared?
Well, I didn't have much time to think about it.
You've really got what it takes.
You going to class? I'll carry your books. How'd you like to see a movie tonight?
I think I'm free.
Hi, Patty. What are you staring at?
My cousin, the heroine. Come on.
Before we begin class, there's another matter I'd like to take up. I'm sure that by now you've all heard about the wonderful act of courage that was displayed yesterday by one of our classmates. Kathy, would you stand up, please? You've brought honor to all of us by what you did, Kathy. Risking your own life to save the life of a stranger is the highest act of valor. Would you care to say a few words to the class about it?
Thank you, Miss Castle. There really isn't much to say. I'm sure that everyone here would have done the same thing in the same situation. Thank you. Boy, what conceit. No, I'm sorry. I don't know when she'll be back. Okay, I'll give her a message. Thank you. That was the Bugle calling. They want to do a feature story on Kathy. Do you know that that's the 10th call she's had in the last hour? And look at this. Teenager saves lad. Right on the front page. With the situation the world is in, you think they'd have more important things to write about than that.
I don't understand you, Patty. You were the one that told the reporter and the newspaper man to come over. You said it was the bravest thing you'd ever heard of. Now, suddenly you act like she did something terrible.
Richard, if there's anything I can't stand, it's a show-off.
Patty, you're not jealous of Kathy, are you?
Who? Me? Of course not. It just isn't fair, Richard, that's all.
What isn't fair?
The only reason Kathy is a heroine is because she was in the right place at the right time. Now, I could have been there instead.
If you'd have been there, he'd have drowned. You can't swim.
Everybody's making such a big fuss over her. You think nobody'd ever saved anybody's life before?
She did a very brave thing.
I'm not trying to take that away from her, Richard. It's just that Kathy is not a natural-born heroine.
And you are.
Well, at least I'd know how to handle the situation.
I think Kathy is handling it fine.
Oh, the whole thing's gone to her head. Richard, I tried to give her the benefit of my advice, and she wouldn't even listen to me. That's probably Life magazine wanting to put her on the cover. Hello? No, Kathy isn't home. Who's calling, please? Roger who? Oh, that Roger. It's the boy she saved.
A voice from the dead.
No, there really isn't any point in coming over, Roger, because Kathy's not home. Just a minute, Roger. She just came in. Why don't you come over? Yeah, she'll be waiting for you. See you then.
Here comes who?
Kathy. Roger wants to talk to her. This is my chance to find out the truth.
The truth about what?
The truth about what really happened.
Well, we know what happened.
Do we? Richard, doesn't it strike you as a little peculiar that Kathy doesn't even want to talk about it?
Not at all. Kathy's just naturally modest.
Or maybe she's just naturally afraid that we'll find out that she fell into that lake by mistake. Or that he wasn't even drowning at all. Or that it was only 3 feet of water. Richard, I'm about to explode a myth.
Hello, Kathy. I brought these for you.
Oh, thank you. Come in, won't you?
Thank you.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Well, we had quite a day yesterday, didn't we?
Yes. I saw the story in the newspaper this morning.
Did you? Well, it really wasn't very accurate, was it?
Well, it didn't tell the whole truth.
No, it didn't, did it? But we know the whole truth, don't we?
Yep.
It didn't mention that some parts of the lake were only a few feet deep.
Why should they?
Why should it? I'll bet you're a wonderful swimmer.
Well, I was on the varsity swimming team.
I knew it.
But that doesn't help much when you've got a cramp. Does it?
No, it doesn't, does it? Roger, when I fell into that lake...
Fell in? That was one of the most beautiful dives I've ever seen.
Oh. Well, it looks like I really saved your life, doesn't it?
I can't tell you how grateful I am, Kathy.
Roger.
Which is which?
I'm Kathy. And I'm Patty, her cousin. Nice to meet you, Roger. We were just having a little chat. Oh? About what? About you a lot.
Patty almost convinced me you didn't save my life.
Did she? Well, I guess you two have a lot to talk about. It was very nice to meet you, Roger. Goodbye.
It's amazing. She's exactly like you.
Yes.
Hello, Momo, Papa. That's French.
Our son, the linguist. Hey, that's a clean plate.
Yeah, thanks. Are we all going down to City Hall to watch Kathy get a medal?
Well, of course we are. How often do we have a hero in the family?
Every day. I should get a medal for living with Patty.
Lois, have Patty and Kathy been quarreling the past few days?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, that's good.
They don't talk to one another, but they haven't been quarreling.
I'm going down to the post office to mail this letter. Can I get you anything?
No, thank you, Kathy.
We were just talking about your medal.
Oh, I don't suppose there's any way I could refuse that without seeming ungrateful.
Why would you want to refuse it?
I just would.
Because of Patty.
She seems so upset about it, I'd really rather let the whole thing drop.
We're not going to do anything of the kind. I think I'll have a little talk with Patty.
I wish you wouldn't, Uncle Martin. She hates me enough already.
Patty doesn't hate you.
She's certainly been acting like it.
Patty wants all the attention, and you're getting it.
But I don't want it.
Kathy, you are going to go down and pick up that medal. And if I know Patty, she's going to be pretty proud of you.
Look at that piece of junk. It's tin. But when I get a medal, it's going to be solid gold.
Thought you were going to the movies with Kathy.
Oh, I changed my mind. It's too crowded.
The movie's too crowded?
Kathy's too crowded. You can't get near her. You think she was Joan of Arc the way everybody swarms all over her.
Makes you feel proud, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's enough reflected glory for all.
If you like reflected glory. Personally, I'd like to go out and get my own. You know something? It's exactly what I'm going to do. See you later.
put you to a 3-column layout and get it in here as fast as you can. I'll have Al standing by. Right. Yes? Oh, good, Joe. We'll take that up at the editorial meeting this afternoon. Fine. Okay, goodbye.
Hello, Uncle Martin.
Hello, Kath.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No, this is a wonderful surprise. Yeah, we should come down here more often.
Well, I really don't find much free time during the day.
But you managed to find it today. Well, what can I do for you?
I've come to ask a favor, Uncle Martin.
You name it, you've got it.
Aunt Natalie told me you were going to write a Sunday feature story about me.
That's right.
That's the favor.
I don't understand.
I don't want you to write it.
Now, if Patty sent you down here...
No, I haven't discussed it with Patty. As a matter of fact, she's not even talking to me. That's why I don't want you to write the article.
Well, I'm sorry, Kath. There's nothing I can do about it. In the first place, it wasn't my idea. It was suggested to me by my boss. I thought it was a very good suggestion. I still do. And it's going to appear in the Chronicle on Sunday. Patty doesn't have to read it.
I'm sorry I troubled you, Uncle Martin. At least I have learned a lesson.
What lesson is that?
Well, the next time I see someone drowning, I'll let him. See you, Tom. See you, Tom. I've never tried analysis before. I don't know if it'll work or not. I guess the idea is to be able to talk out your problem. I think I've just about figured out what's bothering me. You see, usually I'm not jealous of Kathy. Like the time that she got all the highest marks in the whole school. I was so proud I was ready to bust. Or the time that she won the music scholarship. I was so happy to think I'd won it. So basically, I really don't think I'm jealous of Kathy. Basically. I mean, when she sticks to her own territory. But you see, Doc, when she became a hero, well, that's more in my line. I mean, I'm much more the type. I guess I felt what you psychiatrists would call threatened. Does that make sense to you? Makes sense to me. You know something? I feel a lot better after getting this all off my chest. What do you think?
Well, how should I know? I'm just trying to do this crossword puzzle.
You guys are wasting your time. Tell them, Kathy.
Why don't we all have a soda together? Patty, won't you join us? Gee, I'd love to, Kath, but I'm afraid I have another engagement. You run along. All right, for sure.
Come on, Tagger. Everybody's going over to the shake shop.
You're wrong. We're not.
But I'm thirsty.
Well, have a drink of water.
What's gotten into you?
Nothing, Rich. I'm just tired of hanging around with all the kids. Why don't we take a walk by the park lake?
Again? We've walked by there every day, and it's not even on the way home.
All right, nobody's forcing you to go with me.
Look, just because you got some crazy idea in your head...
Rich, I'll go alone. Why don't you go to the shake shop with Kathy?
Maybe I'll just do that.
Who needs him anyway?
Hello, Patty.
Hello, Miss Moore. Miss Moore? Miss Moore?
Yes, Patty.
Could I ask you a question?
Of course.
I know I'm not in your psychology class or anything, but well, I thought maybe you could help me with a problem that two friends of mine are having.
I'll be very happy to try.
They're two boys, cousins, and one of them is jealous of the other one.
Do they like one another?
Oh, yeah, they're crazy about each other. It's just that one boy did something to make the other one jealous. He doesn't want to be jealous, but can't seem to make himself stop.
It sounds as though he's rather immature.
No, he isn't. I mean, he's really a wonderful boy. If it weren't for this little problem, I think he'd really be quite a remarkable young boy.
Are these close friends of yours?
Yeah, I think you could call him that.
Why don't you have them come in and see me?
They can't do that. They live out of town. In Africa. They just moved there recently.
I see.
I was going to write them a letter and include your information.
Well, if this boy is as wonderful as you say he is, I'm sure he has nothing to be jealous of. All he needs to do is develop his self-confidence.
Develop my self-confidence.
It's always a mistake, Patty, to compete with anybody else. The only person you should ever be in competition with is yourself.
I don't understand.
If you do the very best that you know how, you never have to worry about what anyone else is doing. Write that to your friend.
I will. Thank you very much, Miss Moore.
And be sure to say hello to Kathy.
Kath, I brought something home for you. This is an advance proof of Sunday's Chronicle.
Oh. It's lovely, Martin.
You didn't say anything about me.
Aren't you pleased?
Oh, yes, it's very nice. Thank you, Uncle Martin.
I already sent a copy to your father. I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
Wait till Patty sees this. She'll go up in smoke.
Don't worry about Patty. She'll be fine. Where is she?
She hasn't come home yet.
Isn't it a little late for her to still be at school?
Well, she's with Richard. I'm sure she's all right.
She is usually home by this time.
Perhaps Patty stopped at the library.
Patty who?
Well, maybe she did go over to Richard's house. Why don't I call there? She probably didn't realize how late it was.
Hi, folks.
Hello, Richard.
Where's Patty?
I thought she was with you.
No, I haven't seen her since school let out.
But you usually walk her home.
Well, I haven't been walking her home lately, Mrs. Lane.
Why not?
Because I got tired of walking her over to Park Lake every day.
Why would she want to go over to Park Lake every day?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Of course I would.
Well, I think she wanted to go over there because she's hoping to find someone drowning so she can rescue them.
I don't believe it.
Oh, that doesn't sound like Patty.
Does to me.
Richard, don't you have any idea where she is?
No, sir. She could be anywhere.
Patty. What happened?
You're soaking wet.
Darling, did you have an accident?
I want to go home.
You did it. She saved a kid. She's a hero.
Congratulations, Patty. That's wonderful.
Now we can go into the hero business.
I ought to call the newspapers right away.
Imagine having two heroes in the family.
What are you talking about? I pulled her out of the lake. I think I know now what made me do it.
She felt threatened.
She what?
It's a psychiatric expression we psychiatrists use.
You see, all the time I thought I was jealous of Kathy, and I hated myself for it. That's why I kept going back to the lake.
But you just wanted to get your share of attention.
Well, that's what I thought. But that wasn't it at all, Papa. I was just afraid to admit the truth to myself.
What was the truth?
That I was a coward. You see, I kept asking myself, what would happen when the moment came when I'd have to jump in the water? And I didn't know. I thought, what if I just stood there and watched somebody drown? So I had to find out. Patty. So I kept hanging around the lake, waiting for somebody to fall in so I could test myself. Soon I started hoping somebody would fall in.
What happened this afternoon?
Well, I saw this boy fooling around on the shore. And I watched him. And there was a tree that was hanging over the water where it was pretty deep. And he climbed the tree, and a limb broke and he fell into the water.
What did you do?
I almost turned and ran home. But I knew I couldn't do that, so I jumped in after him. The only thing was he thought I was drowning, so he pulled me out.
I see.
You know the terrible part? I found out I am a coward. A coward? What makes you say that? Because when I jumped in that lake, I was scared to death. Patty, I let you in on a little secret. So was I. You were? Terrified.
Honey, a hero is a coward who does something brave. There's no special merit in getting involved in a situation you're not afraid of. And it doesn't matter who pulled whom out. The only thing that matters is that you were willing to risk your life to save the life of that boy.
Well, I guess we go back to City Hall again.
Isn't it lovely having 2 heroes in the family?
3, remember? I have to live with her.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are 2 of a kind.
I've always wanted to be on the debating team, but I never have any time to try out for it. You know how many projects I always have going for me. So this afternoon when I heard they were forming a new team, I said to myself, Patty, you go in there and show them how it's done. So I went in there. And what was I? I was sensational. I really had them tied up in knots. Well, I'm sure you out-talked everyone, Patty.
Why shouldn't she? She's got the biggest mouth.
Sometime I'd like to debate whether or not he's human.
Patty, did they tell you whether you're going to be on the debating team?
No. But why would they pass up their golden opportunity?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Papa.
Dad.
You're home early.
I know. I just couldn't stand it another minute down there at the office.
Hard day?
Well, it wasn't that it was so hard. It was just so noisy. That office is a madhouse. Phones ringing all the time, people talking a blue streak.
That's the newspaper game for you. Hello, Richard. Boy, did I have a wild day today. You know that math teacher that everybody says is an ogre? Well, I've got a meeting out of the palm of my hand. I was torn between bluffing it through or throwing myself at his mercy, so I stayed after class and I said to him, look, Mr. It's for you.
Hi, Tommy. No, I don't know who that was. I've never seen her before. How's things?
Hey, you heard what happened in math class today. Would you like to hear what happened in history?
Not particularly, Patty.
Oh.
Well, you know.
A funny thing happened in gym, though. I went to pick up this medicine ball and the...
Darling, your father's tired.
Oh, I understand.
You're kidding.
Hey, did you hear the joke about the marathon walker who got tired before he got to the finish line? It was like this.
Patty, don't you ever stop talking?
I guess I just have a lot of interesting things to say, that's all.
Oh, yeah? Okay. I'll talk to you later, Tom. Bye.
I don't have to talk, you know. I just do it to be sociable. I think Patty's just excited about the debating team.
Don't defend her. She couldn't keep quiet if her life depended on it.
Oh, couldn't I? I'll bet you I could keep my mouth shut for 3 days if I wanted to.
That's a bet.
What do you mean?
I mean that if for the next 72 hours you can go without saying one word, I will give you an extra week's allowance. In fact, I'll give you 2 extra weeks' allowance.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
It's a deal. When do we start?
Right now.
Hi, folks. Patty, have I got great news for you. They just made you captain of the debating team.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are 2 of a kind.
Morning, Patty. Hey, do you remember I told you I'd let you know when the Glee Club practice began?
It's tonight.
Why don't I pick you up at 8 o'clock? 8:30? Has something the matter with your throat? Something wrong with your head? Well, I hope you feel better. See you later.
I wish he'd stop hanging around you. Doesn't he know you're my girl? Well, if he doesn't, why don't you tell him? Yeah, I know. But you could talk yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. You know what I think? I think you're fickle. As a matter of fact, I think you're the most fickle girl I've ever gone with. And I have gone with hundreds. This little bet of yours is a good idea. Gives me a chance to get some things off my chest. You're a very spoiled girl, Patty. And ungrateful. I mean, if you have me, why would you want to look at anybody else? Yes, sir, this is a whole new side of you. I mean, we can really communicate. Well, I have to be running along. I really enjoyed our little chat. I asked you to come to the shake shop with Gloria and me, but I guess it wouldn't be any fun for you in your condition. Bye.
Patty, I'm leaving now. Ted is downstairs. Are you sure you don't want to come? What are you doing? Can you spare it? Don't you what? Patty, are you sure you're all right? I'm not so sure this bet was a good idea. You have 2 more days to go. I hate to leave you alone. Someone's coming? Who? Richard? All right. Have a good time. Good night.
Good evening, Patty. I thought we'd continue our chat of this afternoon. Yes, sir, I said to myself, Rich, why don't you drop in on poor old Patty and give her a few minutes of your precious time? Sure I can. Did you know I was going to say that? I am not. Don't be ridiculous. What are you, some kind of a mind reader? I don't happen to think this is funny. Boy, will I be glad when you get your voice back so I can tell you what I think of you. If there's anything I can't stand, it's a wise guy.
Boy, talk about thunderclouds. What was he so mad about?
Here she comes, the girl with the golden voice. Did you bring any of those crazy cards with you? Good. After class, I'll take you over to the shake shop. I've been thinking up some things I want to tell you.
All right, class. I'm going to hand back the essays that you turned in yesterday. And on the whole, I'm very proud of you. You did an excellent job. There was one essay in particular I think was especially good, and that was written by Patty Lane. Patty, will you come up here and read your essay to the class? Do you have a sore throat? Well, can you talk? Well, come up here and read your essay. You mean you can talk, you just refuse to? finish? 100 times? Very well, then. You may... You may do it over again. Stubborn has 2 B's.
Oh, there you are.
We thought you weren't coming.
How long can it take to write I won't be stubborn 100 times?
What's the matter? Can't she talk?
No, but she's very big with signs. Did you bring any? Good. I was just talking to Gloria about taking her to the basketball game tonight. Oh, I know I promised you, but that was before you had your problem. I mean, what's the point of going to a basketball game if you can't yell? What are you going to do when they shoot a crucial basket? Just sit there?
We'll let you know how the game turns out.
Why don't we go over to the shake shop, huh? Patty can't stand not having the last word.
No? Look.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Nat.
Guess who had to write I will not be stubborn 100 times today?
You?
No, I'll give you a clue. It's a sister of mine.
Oh, I'm surprised. Patty's not stubborn.
It was all a misunderstanding. Miss Blake asked Patty to read her essay to the class, and Patty refused.
Why?
Because of her bet with you.
That silly thing?
Oh, Patty doesn't think it's silly. She's taking it very seriously.
Well, it's all well and good, but I never intended it to interfere with her schoolwork. Maybe I better have a little talk with her.
If you do, it's going to be very one-sided.
She's really stuck to this, hasn't she? 2 whole days. Of course, it's a little like damming up Niagara Falls. When you open the floodgates, run for your life. She probably won't stop talking for a month. But you know, I bet there isn't another teenager in the country who could go 3 days without talking.
Maybe you should bottle this. Then you'd make a fortune.
I think some of the other children are getting in digs at Patty. And another thing, Richard is taking Gloria to the basketball game tonight.
Say, Nat, why don't I just call this whole thing off? I didn't realize it was going to be so rough on her. I could just tell Patty that I'm convinced she can do this for another day. And I've decided to throw in the sponge and pay her.
I've already tried it.
What do you mean?
I told her that you were convinced that she could do it for another day, and you had decided to throw in the sponge and pay her.
What did she say?
She said no. Well, she didn't exactly say no. She shook her head no.
But why? I mean, she's just out to get the money.
Oh, that's what I thought, and we were both wrong. It's the principle of the thing. She is determined to stick it out, Martin.
Yeah, well, maybe if I had a little talk with her.
Won't do any good. Her mind is made up.
Miss Blake was right. She is stubborn.
I know. Knock. Are you busy? Good. And there's a couple of things I want to say to you. I know you can't answer back, and I may never get this opportunity again. So, I just want to tell you that I think you're the greatest sister in the whole world. I tease you a lot, but I wouldn't trade you in for a new ham set with batteries. Well, that's all I have to say. I'll start yelling at you when you can yell back. Come on, cut it out. The thing I can't stand, it's a sentimental thing.
Oh, come on in, Richard.
Hi, Mrs. Lane.
Why didn't you use the front door?
Technical difficulties.
What?
Patty doesn't want to talk to me.
Oh, she doesn't want to talk to anyone.
I know, but, I mean, she doesn't want to see me. Well, I can't blame her. I played a joke on her with Gloria, and she took it seriously.
I see.
I thought maybe you could give me some ideas.
I don't know how much it would help, Richard. Patty can be pretty stubborn.
Oh, you telling me? She's got the temper of a wildcat.
Why don't you just tell her you're sorry?
I tried, but she won't listen. I even got Kathy to talk to her, but it's like trying to talk to a stone wall. You see, the thing is, Mrs. Lane, I have something very important to tell her. There's a kind of plot going on, and I think Patty should know about it.
Well, that does sound serious, doesn't it?
The trick is to get her to listen to me.
Richard, I have an idea.
Yeah?
There's one form of communication that Patty has never been able to resist. Why don't you go home and call her on the telephone?
Mrs. Lane, you're a genius. Patty? Hello? Are you there? Can you hear me? I have to talk to you. Ow! If you can hear me, rap twice. If you can't, rap once. You don't have to yell. It's very important, Patty. What do you say? Oh, come on. Can't you take a joke? You don't think Gloria means anything to me, do you? Well, you're wrong. That's why I have to see you. I'll come over in a half hour, okay? Thanks a lot, Patty. I'll see you. I hate to bother you, Patty, but this is important. I was only joking. I told you I'm sorry. I admit I was wrong. I'm crazy about you. Patty, are you all right? Kiss me once for no and twice for yes. Oh, that's better. Can you talk now? Oh, well, when will you be able to talk? I'm not asking for me. I'm asking because I think you're in trouble. You know, Gloria tried out for the debating team, too. And she was pretty sore when they picked you and not her. They picked her as an alternate. Well, I just found out. At the meeting tomorrow, she's going to ask them to remove you from the team so she can take your place. It's a pretty dirty trick. It's kind of clever when you think about it. Oh, I called you as soon as I heard. Boy, holding a telephone conversation with you is pretty hard on the eardrums. Well, what are you going to do? You can't do that. Patty, what time is this bed up tomorrow? 4 o'clock. You know what time the meeting is? 3:30.
That is the meanest trick I've ever heard of. There must be something you can do, Patty. You go into that meeting tomorrow and you say. All right, then write it. No, I suppose you're right. If Gloria's out to get you and you can't talk, you don't stand much of a chance. Patty, why don't you forget about the bet? Actually, it's only a half-hour's difference. Your father wouldn't mind. Isn't it important to you to be on the debating team? You're not going to let Gloria get away with this. Are you?
Natalie, do you have any idea what's going on around here?
You mean all the plotting and counterplotting? Oh, yes, Richard briefed me.
Well, it's like something out of James Bond. I mean, I'm the last man in the world to meddle in the affairs of young America, but Gloria's plan to get Patty off the debating team is diabolical.
I know. There's only one other person I know who could have thought up a scheme like that.
Who's that?
Patty.
Well, it just isn't fair. I mean, Patty earned her place on that team. Now she's going to lose it because of a silly bet.
Oh, perhaps she won't lose it.
Well, Gloria's got that meeting scheduled for 30 minutes before Patty can talk.
Patty can always cancel the bet.
Oh, she won't. I just tried that again.
What'd she say?
She didn't say anything. Just held up a sign that read, "Forget it, Popo. I'm a born loser."
When I went up to see her, she held up a sign that said, "If silence is golden, I'm going to be a very rich kid." At least she's got a sense of humor about it.
Well, I'm afraid I haven't. It's all right for Patty to joke, but I know how much being on that debating team means to her.
She's wanted it all year.
There must be something we can do.
What?
Well, for one thing, I could go to that meeting tomorrow and
And?
make a fool of myself.
Want to hear a confession?
Yeah?
I thought about going to her school and setting the clock back.
It's terrible. Wish I'd thought of it.
You know what the real trouble is? We're trying to solve Patty's problems for her. It's up to her to solve it for herself.
But that's just the point. She won't. She's given up. It's not like Patty. She's going to let Gloria win this without putting up a fight.
The trouble is we're not used to Patty losing. Well, you can't win them all.
Oh, I suppose not. How does she get herself into these things?
She got into this one with a little help from you.
Next time I'll learn to keep my big mouth shut.
Want to bet?
Why don't we get started?
It's not 3:30.
You're not even supposed to be here. You're not on the debating team.
I'm an amicus curiae.
What does that mean?
Not sure.
Why don't we wait for Patty? She's our captain.
Do you want a captain who can't even talk? We're having our first debate with Rockland High on Monday. You want to win, don't you? Come on, let's get to work.
Why don't you adjourn until 4 o'clock?
Because the meeting was called for 3:30. Look, if Patty's not interested enough to be here, she's not interested enough to be captain of the Brooklyn Heights High debating team.
I tell you, she'll be here at 4 o'clock.
Call the meeting to order. Goodbye, Richard.
You wouldn't do this to Patty, would you?
Gloria's right. If Patty was interested, she'd be here.
Why don't I send out for sandwiches?
Well, let's get the show on the road. Yeah. The meeting of the Brooklyn Heights High debating team is hereby called to order.
I move that since Miss Patty Lane is absent from this meeting, she be removed from the debating team. Is there a second to the motion?
I second it. A motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
All in favor of what? What's up, group?
Patty, you changed your mind.
Yeah, I thought we were going to lose you. Did you? Oh, you can't get rid of me that easily. Can you, Gloria, darling? Apparently not, darling.
Hold everything. We have a motion before the House. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
The motion is not passed. Now, let's get down to business.
I think that's a great idea. And, Gloria, since you're just an alternate, why don't you, buzz off and get ready for Halloween? Anyway, you lost your bet. I'll talk to you later.
Anytime. You'll find me at Patty's.
Well, we have a lot of work to do. Group, I'm ready. In that case, why don't we take a half hour and relax, and we'll all meet back here at 4 o'clock.
What's the point as long as we're here?
As long as we're here and I'm captain, I say we should meet back here at 4 o'clock.
Boy, I didn't think you were going to get here on time.
Neither did I.
You decided this was more important than the bet, huh?
Yeah. Well, who wants to win a silly old bet?
Well, that's funny. I thought it meant something to you.
Who? Me? Nah.
I guess you're glad I got rid of Gloria. Once for no and twice for yes. Once for no and... No! What's the matter, Kathy? That's the least you can do for Pat.
Hello, Nat.
Hello, darling.
Well, tonight's the big night. Patty talks.
Martin, you're going to
I'll
be
bet
so-
I was right about Niagara Falls, wasn't I?
Well,
if I'm not mistaken, she started bending your ear at 4 o'clock on the dot, and she hasn't stopped talking since. She is at home, isn't
Oh,
she?
yes, darling, she is at home.
There she is, the chatterbox of Brooklyn Heights. Honey, I'm really proud of you. You did it. Are you glad it's over? Did you have a good day? Oh, I owe you some money, don't I? You can talk now, you know. You won the bet. Laryngitis.
I've been trying to tell you.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind.